Okay, well, welcome to Watercolor Studio 42. Lately I've been doing winter scenes, so today I'm going to be specializing in doing a winter scene here with a lot of fir trees. And kind of the fir trees kind of lead down to the lake. And this is one of those National Park Foundation calendars. Gosh, you get all these things in the mail. And so I pick out some of the pictures that I feel I can do within the time frame. And so this is going to be mostly fir trees, snow, some water, the lake. I think they call it the Great Lake of Oregon. And then some background hills and mountains and so forth. So we'll be doing this today. Now, if I'm doing an outdoor picture, usually what I do, I'm going to move this down. I don't need it right now. When I do a picture, if it's an outdoor picture, I usually do the sky. I work from the top and work down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my largest brush that I have, my flat 1 inch across, and just wet the paper. Just wet the background where the clouds are going to be. In this particular photograph, there's a lot of white clouds in here. So I'm just going to put some little patches of water where the clouds are up near the top. So it's going to look something like this. Let's get some blue in there. I've got some leftover paint, so I'm just reactivating that. That's the beauty of watercolor. Gosh, you can let the paint dry out for months, and just as soon as you hit it with water, you've reactivated the color. I'm looking a little bit at the photograph. A little blue showing through here, across the top. Something like that. Now, there's going to be some little bit of shadow down in through the clouds, a little bit of transparency there, but that's about it. That's about it for the clouds. Now, while I'm working with the blue, I'm going to introduce where the water is on the lake. It shows through a little bit on this side, and I'll put a little bit more across there. And it cuts in here and works up in through there. And then we have some blue coming down here on the side of the hill here. Now, normally I don't use my white paint, but sometimes because you have quite a bit of a solid area of white, I just use white, the white titanium. And what I do is I use not watercolor, but I use the cerulean. I use this here. So it works pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's going to be okay. Put a little bit of shadow in here. I'll probably have to go a little bit darker by the time I get through. Put some color in there. Now the foreground's going to be all pretty much all white across snow in the foreground here. I'm replacing that regular tree, like an oak tree, with a fir tree. That oak tree in the photograph is so strong, it's such a big object on this side that it kind of takes away from the rest of the picture. Okay. So here we go. That's that. I like to get a little bit of color into the painting, and I'm getting most of the blue in. Now, I've got to go a little bit deeper with the blue. Especially right through here, around that landform there. A little bit up into here, and a little bit right across there. Kind of get it straight across. You don't want the water going downhill or uphill. It's got to seek its own level, so when you put the water in, the water line's got to be fairly straight. Right across. Meet up on the other side here. Not too bad. You could always go over it again if you have to. A little bit darker down through here. And you want to get a little bit more contrast between the water color and the land where the snow is. So we just kind of fill that in a little bit darker down here near the what would be the snow line. Okay. Now, when you do a fir tree with snow on it, you have to sort of put the white paint in, not like little balls of cotton or anything like that, but it has to kind of conform to the branch, how the branch is, spread out. So what I usually do, I usually put the green in, the dark first, and then where it's open, I just put some white paint in there. So, and you always start with green at the bottom, leaves a space, white, green, till you get near the top. Now the top, you want to keep white because the snow, when it falls down, it falls on the top of things, so on the branches. So let's see what I can do with that. Using some of my sap green here, kind of a darker green, and between the picture I have here, the photograph, and the one I made up, I think we'll be able to manage pretty well. Now I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to start across with green. And the branches down near the bottom are going to be kind of flat. Yeah, they're going to be in the snow. Let's leave a space in between here. Come up like this, and that's going to go over there kind of flat. You can kind of make these the green, when you lay the green in, you can make it kind of sharp, like the branches are. Every Christmas, I've got one of those, sort of an old-time Christmas tree, and you have to put every one of the branches into the, the main trunk of the tree. So I kind of got used to doing that. How trees work out. Okay, something like that. If you leave a little bit of white in there, it doesn't matter, because that could be some of the snow on the tree. And the clusters can be kind of broken up shapes. They don't have to be anything too fancy. It's kind of broken up a little bit. I just have to make sure that the cap up here is, I kind of leave that open. That's going to be the green up in here. And get that on later. Right now I'm just kind of breaking this up in here. And I guess I can come out a little bit on the edges. Kind of break that up in here. Okay, so you have something like this. I'm looking at the contour here. Some of those branches can come out more, kind of more to a point, like that. It looks kind of funny now, but once you put the white in there, it should work out okay, look natural. And let's break this up along the bottom. The weight of the snow kind of pulls the heavier branches down. And sometimes they stay pretty much like that. See, and through here, they stay kind of bent down. And then as you come up through the tree, they kind of spread out up near the top here. That's going to be a little bit, the paint kind of spread over here, but we can darken that up somehow. Okay, now I'm going to blot that, fix that up. Maybe I can hide that with some white down the road. See what I can do with that. I'll put even some darker blue up there. Now I got these other trees in here, and they got the same amount of kind of texture to them. They're all sort of the fir tree, I guess. And there's they overlap each other. Keep the top white, and come down like this. It's hard to copy the shape exactly, but you kind of get the idea of how you break it up. Break it up with the white. Sometimes you have to practice a little bit to get used to how to do it. Sometimes it might come out looking like popcorn balls or balls of cotton. You don't want like little balls of cotton that look like snowballs on the tree, but you have to kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, let's continue on over here, do these trees. Again, you can leave, the shapes can vary. Kind of bring them out a little bit on the tips. A little bit. Okay, now these trees are kind of clustered together, so one's in front of the other, overlapping. Let's see what we can do. Okay. There's a lot of white on, there's big clusters of snow on some of these branches. We've had a little bit more snow this year, so we've had a chance to see what the snow's like on the branches. There's sort of a solid area in here where the snow didn't get to it too much. There you go. Sometimes you get some big patches of snow that come in like that, so you don't see it broken up as much. A whole big green area through here. All right, let's do a little bit more up near the top here. Get a little bit more paint on the brush. This is going to be a little bit over here like this. Come out like that. Then you get the other tree. Again, you have to leave the top white. And that one comes down, comes in like this. Now, when you're working on this, it kind of doesn't seem to pull together until you get everything else in. Get over here. Okay. Now I'm going to put some darker color in there too. It's a kind of a deeper green in some of these areas. So we get some of that in. Like I said, some of these areas where they're not directly exposed. They're sort of pretty much of a solid green down around the base here. See how that works? That's all solid over here. And this one comes up in through here got a lot of solid color in there. Across like this. And a little bit of texture out on the end here. Yeah, something like that. And see if I can get some of this going. I guess that's okay. A little bit on the edge. Yeah. You can see how you have to work. Now, I think really if you haven't painted trees with snow on them, I think that you have to spend a little bit of time on a scrap paper. I did for about 4 of these things until I kept that one. It looked the most natural. But you have to practice some of these different textures on the trees. It looks okay so far. I haven't touched much of the tops yet, but you get an idea how this has to kind of work. And of course, the camera, when it takes a picture, all the shadows will come out very dark with the camera. You can't pick up all the different deep, dark shades. So usually some of these darker areas actually have like a black color in them, or at least a dark, deeper, very deep green. Very deep green. Let's see what else we got here. And come across the bottom here. Okay. There you go. Work something like that in. Yeah, I just do a little bit of the kind of the contour, how it fills in. Down through here is a very dark, broken up across the bottom. Yeah, kind of lately I've been doing the winter themes. Which I don't mind. I think they're kind of a little bit of a challenge to work on. And if it's watercolor, you got to really make sure you're saving the white. Otherwise, if you don't save the white, you're going to have to use some white, which I do anyways. If I don't like the patch of green that I have, I can wait until this dries a bit and then put some patches of green, put some patches of white in there rather. Fix it up a little bit. I'm going to just do something with the top here. I'm going to bring that out here. I got too much paint out there, so I'm just going to push this out a little bit more into here. That fills that in. I'm not sure if I like that shape. Okay, come down the side, pull some of this out. I'm still going to have to add some white into that too, but maybe not as much. Got this here. This one I actually don't have much of a picture of, this larger one. I'm just going by the one I did previously from another photograph. I get a lot of, well, I guess most everybody does too. You get a lot of this, these calendars in the mail, and even though I'd like to be able to contribute to everything that comes in the mail, I don't ask for anything. We don't ask for all these cards and gifts, but they send them anyway, so hopefully they're hoping that you will buy some. But they call all the time, requesting money, which some of these organizations, they're well worth it. I mean, they're doing a good cause, but I can't be giving to all the organizations, or I'd be broke. I wouldn't be able to pay my grocery bill or electric light bill with all the between what you get in the mail and on the phone. It gets a little bit hectic. I just tell them I do the best I can, but it's hard to help everybody. Okay, and so some other things going down around this contour here too. Other bushes and trees. We can fill some of that in across here. And this one can go right up, actually go right to the edge really. In the photograph, they got this huge tree there, but it's so large an object that it does take away. At least the fir tree is a little softer, but not so much taken away. Now, let's see. I've got to let that dry a bit. Put some tops on. And then while I'm letting that dry, I guess we can work a little bit on the middle area, darken that, push that more blue more to the trees, do some shading around kind of the base area. So we'll work on that for a while. It's definitely like this one area here is like an island. And that's going to be a little bit more grayish color. So I'm going to take some of my Payne's Gray. I can add a little pinch of blue into that from what we have here. And let's see what I can do with that. Like I said, it's an island. And it's rounded off a bit on the top. And then it comes down on the side into the water area. This is pretty solid out here. Right through here, you get some darker area. Right along the water. Something like that. And then what I do is just take and pull some of this inside edge down, take some of that out of there and just pull it in through here, in through the center. It looks like it does have some lighter areas in there, like as if there's snow. So you do something like that. Had a little bit, I still had some blue on the brush. So this kind of looks more bluish. We can darken that up a bit. Bring that out. And then we have something that's a little bit lighter, some other landforms off in here. And they look like they're kind of got a lot of mist or clouds around them. And I'm just going to bring that area up into here and kind of pull that back. Soften this, pull it down, and kind of pull it over into the tree area. Then it's misty off there, so I kind of leave that. If it looks okay, like it looks like mist across there, I just leave that in. Then you have some clouds that come kind of engulf that area. We'll just carry this over. You'll see a little bit of that over on this side. See what I can do. It gets lighter. Whoops, not that light. But we'll put that in we can put some of that in there. and soften it down. Okay. Again, that got a little bit green. I can see if I can get some more black into that. Some of this black here, a little darker. I'm working on this area through here. And that goes, that you can carry that right to the edge where the tape is. Okay. This is getting very soft into here, so sometimes when it gets a little drier, you can add some more color without it, running too much. Soften this off here. I just take some of that color and just pull it out of what I have there. Bring it down in, and make sure it's straight across the waterline in there. Excuse me. You got to get a little bit more. The blue's going to get a little darker through here too. Right in there. That's going to be deeper. And over here it gets a little bit darker with the blue. It shows up a little bit more. And let's see what else. Oh, I think I can take some of that. It's hard to tell what's down around the edge here, but I'm just going to kind of darken that in a little bit. It's probably a few more trees in there, so we just put something in there. Make sure the edge is kind of clean cut on the crust of the snow up through here. Let's see what else. Let's see, we want to come over here. That's going to be a cloud. So we'll take some of that out, soften it in. And there's kind of a cloud in there. There you go. Yes, ever so soft in there. Okay, there's kind of some shadow up in this one too. Very, very soft. Take some of that out of there. That's definitely too dark. Right into here. I use my brush like a sponge and lift some of that out. Lighten it up. Okay. Now, in through the sky, we can make that much darker. And soften this in. Just soften those edges out so they look like they're just misty. Okay, let's do a little bit more up and darker in here. Get a little bit more blue in the brush here. Get a little bit more dark in there. Now it's almost, well, at least for me it is, it's almost impossible to get the shading sometimes that I'm looking for. Yeah. What I do is just soften some of the edges here. And take some of that out of there. Just blend it out, take some of the edge away. If you get too much of a sharp edge, I just soften it out. Now over here I can come in on this one a little bit more darker. It is in the photograph. Right across here. I'm looking up in there. Right across down in here. can get a little bit firmer there. And I guess that's okay. Now, what we have to do, I'm going to see if I can get that a little bit more across the bottom edge here. Take some of the inside edge away. This can get a little bit deeper here. That's a little bit greener than what it should be. You can have a little bit of vegetation green in there, but probably, excuse me, quiet it down a bit. Take some of this out. Okay. There's always some little thing that, you know, you have to touch up somewhere. At least I find it to be that way. Now, I've got the false tape, false edge around here with the tape, and so I have to put some color right to the tape. Otherwise, when you pull the tape off, it looks kind of funny. Let's kind of break this up a bit. Right in there. And right across through here. Yeah. Come down the side in here. Kind of cut back up into the tree. There's going to be some shadow around the base of the fir trees. Might as well put it in while I'm thinking about it. Same thing over here. There'll be some shadow across there. Okay. Now it's amazing how sometimes these things come out pretty good. Show a little bit of the white cap. So you have to show a little bit of dark around it. It's down here. That's coming out pretty good. Now, what I have to do, just add a little bit more contrast up here. Try to bring out the point on the tree. Yeah, a little bit over here. Yeah, I've just put some shadow down around the base here. And a little bit on the snow. It's a very soft shadow in through here. And I really have to put, I got too much white against the white of the tape. So what I have to do is come across here and just put some shadow in there. And you want to make it a softer shadow. You just take some of the edge off and just push it back up into here. You see how that works. Because there's so much white in this painting, it doesn't take long to seem to finish it. But I want to fill this in some more. It's kind of lighter in there. It's not really white. And I don't know if I can get some of that edge, pull some of that out. That's all that highlight from the reflection of the land. Get some of that out of there. I think I'm going to have to go a little darker in through here. Same way, this is lighter up in here. We can doctor that up, I guess. Okay, and put more of the point on the tree here. Okay, bring that back. Now, I'm just going to put a little bit more, some shadow into here. Okay, you get the idea of how that kind of, and this needs something on the edge here to give that more of a shape. Okay, down through here. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry a bit, and I want to put a nice stronger edge right through there. It needs a little darker edge through here. So let's see if we can get that in. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but just where you want to emphasize a little bit more. To bring out the edge, you just drop some of that in there. It pulls it right out. It'll go up into here, some of that paint. And it's dark right through there. Now, that looks like it might be too dark, but you know, after it dries out, it's not that bad at all. Just put a little bit of edge through there. And of course, what I do also, take some of this black and drop it up into here. In some of these areas where you can see where it's pretty dark, you can push that in there. And make sure you don't leave any hard edges, just have it blend out. A little bit more up into here. You see how that works. A little bit more up in the, actually this one too. Bring out more of the point there. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it's all right, I guess. This one gets dark down in here. Or shadow into that one, right down into this area. Okay. Introduce some more black over here. Kind of tie it together here. Okay. Define this a little bit. And pull this back. Kind of cut in, pull it back. Give that a little bit more shape, a little bump in there. And that goes into the mist lifting out. And bring this out a little bit more. And If you have something else in here. Okay. Now, let's see. This isn't quite clear what's going on in there. So sometimes I just sort of blend it out a bit. I think maybe sometimes I put too much in, which is easy to do. A lot of times okay. Oh, something coming across in here. Okay. I'm going to turn this around just a little bit. Sometimes I turn it on its side, I can get to that. Makes it easier. There you go. Now this isn't going to be an exact copy, obviously, but kind of use it for somewhat of a reference. Maybe darken around here. And let's see what we got here. Now, if I feel, if I need to put some white back in, I let this dry, then I go back in. I can use a cleaner brush. And a smaller brush, and use one of these, and you can take some of your white, and if you want to, if something doesn't look quite right, you can just hit it with some white and change the shape. If that doesn't look like it has much of a point, I just take some of this acrylic. No, that's not helping that too much. Put a little bit more of a tip there. Okay. Now, it's up to you whether you want to add any more. But it's not really up to you unless you're painting. You're doing a paint along. But what I'm doing is just put it touching up. Okay. Now, we're doing pretty good on time. This was a little bit of well, it's a little bit easier than what I thought it would be. But the idea is to get everything looking okay. And if I get some too much blue that spills over, I just put some white acrylic paint on and hide that. They do have what they call a Chinese white watercolor, but the only trouble is it doesn't cover. It's not quite as opaque, and you can't cover as easily. So I just use white acrylic paint rather than using the white Chinese white. Okay. All right. Kind of lose that shape of that contour. Might need a little something darker. Just go across the top here. Kind of brings that up. Could use a little bit more out here. Just a little bit darker. Where was I now? Well, I guess I could use a little bit more white in there, or gray. That's about it. I think there was a little bit of hint of gray right down through in this area. And excuse me, and I'm just going to lighten that out. Just take it out with water, soften that off, pull it out. Okay. What else? You can clean up across the bottom here. Bring it right over into the corner. That's so when you pull the tape off, you get a nice sort of a cleaner edge. Well, it's getting to be there. There's always some little touch up here and there. You want to put some more shadow in there, on the snow. You can always add some little touch up here and there. Probably need a little bit more around the base here, right in through there. Bring it right out here. A bit more in there. Just to clean up some of that. Give it some color on the edge. Okay. Well, kind of getting there. If there's any touching up to do, it's very, excuse me, very minor. You can get this, maybe some white up in there on the tip. This maybe could use a little bit more in through there. I tried to get more of a point on the tree. That's about it. Make sure I got the corners. Just make sure we got it all filled in. Right up to the tape. Okay, so we'll see what we got here. Not quite dry yet, but I think we can take the tape off. Yeah, that kind of cleans up the edges. Good tape. Maybe too good. Sticks to your hands. There you go. Yeah. Now it's not exactly always like the photograph. You'd have to spend, if you wanted to look too much like the photograph, you'd probably have to spend quite a few more minutes to get the effect you're looking for. But that's about it. This one here, the photograph definitely has heavier blue. In fact, this is really kind of purple, and I kind of kept mine more like a blue sky. But that's how that works with snow on the trees. And it takes a little bit of practice to get that effect. The more you paint, supposedly the easier it's supposed to get. I don't know, that's always true. I always tell everybody, I said, you got two sides, you got the front and the back, and you can work it out. That corner looks a little bit light. It needs some kind of more paint in the corner. So you can take your brush, and you can put the tape back if you want, but I'm just gonna see if I can touch it up without having to put the tape back. There you go. Take care of that. Put a little bit more color in this corner. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's about it. And I don't know if I'll do another winter scene next time. It depends on what I find, but I might put something man-made in the picture, like a bridge, or one of those covered bridges or something like that, or a cabin or something you can put in the picture. Okay, so time's up, and like I always say, brushes up, and we'll see you again next time, okay?